So today we're going to start making the STI resemble a car again, on the inside at least. And we're going to start getting the Haltech set in place so that way we can gauge how long to make our wires. And because you guys have hassled me so much about this, we will relocate the battery to the trunk. All right, we will get the battery mounted in place today in the trunk. And then in a different video, we'll run all the wiring because I don't have the stuff to be able to run all the wiring. I'll probably order it on Amazon tonight, just so that way we can get it in here and start doing that. But I'm excited. It's gonna look like a car again. The 17 STI will actually resemble, well, the interior will actually resemble a car again. So my goal for today is to get this mess kind of sorted out. I've been watching a lot of videos from Horsepower Academy and Haltech on wiring, and we need to map out how we want our harness to route in here, which I have a pretty good idea of where I want it to route and how I want it to route. So we're gonna have to map that out today, and we'll start labeling some of these wires so we know exactly where they go. In here, it's still somewhat of a hot mess inside of the car with all of these like wires dangling down everywhere. So we're gonna get that fixed today, and we're gonna get the headliner put back in. We're gonna get the rear trim panel piece back in, and we're gonna finish looming up all of this wire. Just so that way it's pretty much taken care of at this point, and put some of these other electronics back in their final resting position so that way we don't have to keep messing with this stuff. Now off camera, I did start to go through and I did start to finish up the routing of some of the wiring and relooming all of it, so we're going to be finishing that up today so that way I can just get it checked off the list. Battery position, I'm thinking right there. Maybe I'll do it on this side because wires are going to have to run up there. There's a grommet up there, so that way I can easily just route the wires to the starter and to the fuse box. So we will get the battery put in place. So huge shout out to Melee for sending this battery mount and battery over to us. We have a killer Smeedia logo on the outside of it, and we have an awesome Melee logo up on top. So this is the battery that we're going to be using. They sent this over a while ago, and we just haven't been ready to do electronics yet. So now that we're ready to start getting into the electronics portions of things, this is the battery that's going to be going in the car. This is their Rally Spec battery with Rally Spec battery mount. Well, it's not their battery. It's a full throttle battery. I believe it's AGM also. So this is going to be perfect for what we're doing. So it'll make the, I mean, honestly, it'll make the engine bay look a lot cleaner with the battery mounted back here. So we'll get that in its final position today. I'm thinking like right over there. We'll start messing with the Haltech. But first, let's finish up cleaning up like all of this exposed wiring back here. So that way I just don't have to look at it all anymore. I think for the most part at this point, I've done relooming everything. This takes so much time to reloom wire, you guys, you have no idea. So over here, I mean, nothing really changed over here. It's just the taillight going up to the main harness up there. Over here, we have the taillight that goes down, ties into that mess of harnesses over there. I added the fuel pump harness in, so you guys might have seen me pull that out of the car. So it wraps up right there, goes up there. Those two orange wires that you see right there coming off that relay, that's the relay for both of our Wall Bureau 450s that are already in the fuel tank. Then those run over there, and then that one little orange wire that's hanging right there is the power that's going to end up running all the way across down to the battery location right here. So next up, I think I'm going to shove the headliner back in the car, which is behind this box of wheels and the mini fridge, just to get that out of the way, get it off the floor, so that way there's less stuff in the garage. So the best way that I found to get the headliner in and out of the car is straight through the trunk like this. It's still a little bit of a pain to get in there, but it shouldn't be too bad. So all of these wires that are dangling up in here will no longer be dangling. They'll all be cleaned up, and I'm not gonna be smacking my face on all of this stuff just chilling right here anymore. And I want to get like the mirrors and everything like that back in. So let's reassemble the roof area up there, and then we can start mounting our battery back there, and then jump up here to our fuse box area for the Haltech. There's so much like miscellaneous tiny stuff that's just getting done today, but it needs to be done. First of all, let me tell you, I learned me something new today about headliners. that there's fiberglass on the back side. That was fun, that was exciting. It looks straight up as I'm moving the headliner around to get it in place, which by the way, absolutely sucks to put a headliner back in, but as I'm moving it, it just starts raining. It just starts raining fiberglass onto my face, into my mouth, onto my hands, and it was just terrible. It was gross. It's itchy now. I am like itchy. Not 10 out of 10. No. But got the headliner in. Sucks to put in. Now some of you guys might be asking, hey, where'd you put the headliner in if you're putting a roll cage in? Well, because the fabricator said he can work around the headliner to get the roll cage in there and still have it be FIA approved. So we're doing it. Plus the headliner looks better than just staring at like bare metal up there. So the headliner's in place. I had to get the headliner in before it got the roll cage too, because as soon as it gets the roll cage, there's no way that a headliner is going to squeeze between a roll cage and the thing. It wouldn't happen. But let me show you the headliner. So, I mean, it doesn't look anything out of the ordinary for something that's not OEM, but it's in there. The sunroof closes. I still have full functionality of the sunroof too, so I want to maintain that as much as I can. We still have all of our dome lights put back in, everything else. I kept these upper trim panel pieces where the seat belts used to go, just to make sure that we still had like good interior in here, so that's in there. And pretty impressed because I managed to keep all of these headliner pieces with the exception of one of the little mirror caps up there, which is probably like $2 from Subaru. So I'll just order one of those, but hey, headliner's back in, one less thing to do, one less thing sitting around. Now I want to start figuring out this battery situation. So one thing I really like about this Melee thing is I am going to put it on this side. That's actually right where it's going. It comes with this little bracket, so you can take the battery on and off the bracket as you wish. So I think I'm just going to find a way to mount the bracket right there. They gave me riv nuts for it, but for some reason me and riv nuts just don't get along, and I can never install riv nuts properly. So I'm just going to rivet that thing down right there. Once it's riveted down, we'll just get the box bolted up to that. We'll get the battery set in there, and then in like the upcoming videos, we'll actually run all the battery cables up like through there, up to the engine bay and to the fuse box and everything, so that way we can do this. And plus there's good ground spots back here. Like we have a frame rail right here that I can just ground the battery out to. So let's get this guy riveted down. Let's get the battery box bolted to that, and then I don't know, we'll see what happens after that. Start playing with the ECU. So I was just gonna decide to time lapse this, but I kind of changed my mind. So all I've done so far is locate the holes for where the battery tray is gonna sit. Just went through and deburred them. If you guys don't have one of these, grab one. It's a whirly bird, so whenever you drill holes, you can clean it up, get all the burrs off. Now that that's done, maybe I should have left it on a time lapse because I'm about to paint. I'm gonna paint those holes so that way it don't rust, because that's steel, not aluminum. Now, you know what? I'm actually just gonna time lapse that so we can all watch paint dry. So our battery box is installed down here. So it installs down there with 2 little Allen heads and then 3 on the backside to that bracket that we riveted down. And this thing is like, it's not going anywhere, which is good. That's what we want. We don't want the battery to move. So all that's left to do is set the battery in there, and then at a later date wire it up. So let's grab the battery, let's set it in there, and it locks down pretty cool too. So let me show you. Let me show you the magic. So now all we got to do is grab our battery right here and get you in your home. Just kind of set it in there. Boom, battery. Now here's how it locks down. Boom, little flap. Oh, but wait, Tanner, how does the flap lock? Oh, bam, we got a pull pin. If I can figure out how to get the pull pin in. Boom, pull pin. Look at that. I actually think I kind of want to flip the battery around 180 degrees so that way the cables are on the back. I'm going to. I changed my mind. Here's the only thing I don't like about this battery tray is getting the battery out. So that's the part that sucks. Like, that's the part that really sucks. I put the battery in backwards. This is my own fault. Ugh. It's just a heavy little battery. There we go. That's how I want it, because I want the dealios on the back side so that way the cables can just run nicely that way. And then we can get our little pushy pin back in here. Boom! Battery installed. There you guys go. You wanted the battery in the trunk. We're putting the battery in the trunk. This thing is nice and secure now. So extremely happy with the battery location, actually. It's not going to be bad to rewire it in. I just didn't want to do it, but you guys talked me into it. So if you guys are looking for these, Melee does stock this exact battery. I don't think they'll include the Smeedia logo for you, but they do stock this battery. Like I said, this is their rally spec. They also have some other battery options if you are looking for pretty much every Subaru you could think of. So I'm gonna take like an hour to an hour and a half break, then we're gonna jump into the ECU stuff, getting the Haltech permanently installed, or not installed, but permanently mounted up, starting to run through wiring, sort wiring, and figure out where we want the main harness to run, because you have to take into account the path that the harness is going to run, because there's certain spots you need to put certain crimps in the main harness whenever you go to build it. Like I said, I've been watching a lot of like Horsepower Academy and Haltech's website, or Haltech's YouTube, to learn how to do this, because I have no idea how. So I'm gonna go do Friday's live stream, because you guys are seeing this Saturday. So I'll be right back. All right, back from the stream. Next up is to get our Haltech mounted up into its new home. So it's gonna be mounted in the glove box right here. So I don't know how I'm gonna mount it yet, how I want to mount it. So we're gonna take a second to try to figure that out. So we're gonna get you like up on this overhead mount. I'm gonna start playing around with this thing, drilling some holes, mounting this thing up. And we're gonna get it like in its new location, like for good. So there's a couple things I need to keep in mind when getting this ECU mounted in here. A, accessibility. I need to make sure that it's easily accessible for the tuner to get to. B, I have to have the fuse box in here that goes with the Haltech also, so that way it's accessible if for any reason we pop or blow fuses. So we're gonna be drilling a decent sized hole in the backside of this to be able to fit our wiring harness through permanently. Actually, you know, I should probably take I'm going to take the wiring harness out of the car and bring it over here after we get this guy mounted in there. So that way we can gauge like where everything is going to go. But let's get it mounted up in here. So I've got the ECU figured out at this point. So it is chilling right in there in the glove box. So that way, when you open the glove box, bam, there's the ECU. So it still gives us full accessibility to all the ports that are right there. I drilled a starter hole right there that I'm gonna have to increase to make it bigger for the like actual plugs to go through. And then it gives us all of our connections. If I can get this thing in the light, it's like perfectly in the shadow. All of our connections right on that side of the ECU. Now, I got the glove box test fit back in here for where it goes, and the wiring comes out in the perfect spot for it. So this wiring will pass through the glove box, and there's enough slack here so that way I can actually go in there and plug in to go into it. Now that fuse box down there is not going to fit in the glove box. So what I'm thinking is mounting it down here on this little bottom piece right here. There's another trim panel that goes down there to block the blower fan, but having it right there still gives me accessibility to, if I need to get it, I can just like put like quick locking tabs on those two little feet right there to hold it in place. But that way it still gives me access. So I think the amount of slack that we have in this wiring right now is perfect for what we need. And plus the interior looks like it's starting to come along, and it's starting to look so good in here, you guys. I cannot wait to get this car back on the road. So now that location on this is taken care of, we have just the right amount of slack right there. We're gonna pop up into the engine bay and start sorting this wiring. So what I've learned here, which is about 2 hours of YouTube video watching and whatnot, is we need to have a path kind of planned out for where these wires are go. I have a pretty rough idea of where the turbo, exhaust, and everything's gonna sit like that. So I kind of have a rough idea here of where I want the wiring to go. This is not going to be the final solution, but it is going to give me an idea of how everything is going to lay out, which will help me later. So that way, when it comes to like mapping all of this out, because I'm going to map this all out on a piece of paper. So that way I have like a rough idea of like, hey, I want the harness to wrap up here at point C where it intersects at this bend. I need to put this style of crimp. There's a lot that goes into this. There is so much more that goes into this than I ever anticipated, but it's good to learn. So let me start mapping this out to figure out where I want all of this to go. So it's starting to look like a mess in here again, I know, but this is about where I'm gonna stop for tonight, just because all of the, like this big bundle of wiring right here, I guess it's not that big of a bundle anymore, but this bundle right here, I need to like take time to go through, and it's getting late. Like it's like dark outside, and I need to edit this video still. But what we have going on here is we have all of our injector wires coming over to this side, knock sensor 2, knock sensor 1, coolant temp sensor, crank position, cam position, other bank injectors. This giant yellow bundle is ignition. This bundle, I don't remember, but I put it over there for a reason. I'm just starting to get everything laid out. Like these wires up here need to go back through the car. That's battery positive, negative, and fuel pump. All those need to go to the back of the car. This, like I said, is just going to take me a little bit of time to go through. And I have some email questions for Haltech because some of the colors on the injector wiring don't match up to what that diagram says over there. So I'm gonna say it again, like I say in every single video, I feel like I didn't get that much done today, but in reality, I got more done than I thought I was going to. So battery is located and assembled in the trunk. We just need to wire it in, so I'll order the stuff to be able to wire the battery in tonight. The headliner's back in. The headliner's fully assembled, so that doesn't have to be messed with anymore. We got basic layout of the Haltech knocked out. We got more assembly done inside of the car. We got the Haltech mocked up of where it's going to be and located inside of the car, also fuse box location wise and ECU wise. And what, the rest of the car's loomed up. The majority of the day was probably spent relooming wire. That just takes so long to do. I'm glad that there's no more relooming of any wire that's gonna be happening, but that's all I got for you guys on this one. So we're gonna be continuing the wiring in of the Haltech behind me. We're gonna continue to map it out and figure out where everything is going to go. So if you guys like the video, you know what to do. Go ahead, hit that like button, turn it black, blue, green, yellow, purple, silver, cyan, any color, whatever color it turns for you guys. Color of the day today is going to be violet. We're gonna do violet as the color of the day today. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, hit your boy up one of these corners. No idea which one I'll put it in quite yet. And with that, I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, homies.